Film production crews, studios, post facilities, medical facilities, even banks. Everyone now has an exponentially increasing requirement to store their data. And it's not just video and audio, also stills and other important media. So we have to figure out how to store that data safely, and it's a universal concern.
Let's say in the last 4 or 5 years, we've really begun to see that shift, the serious part of the shift into digital cinema, to the extent that now digital cinema is pretty much the dominant force for acquisition.
Movie finishing has moved from film capture to digital capture while I've been in the business, so it's been an incredible time to be in the business. But we generate a lot of data, and without film capture, without tape capture, with file-based capture, we generate a ton of data.
Everybody is shooting more content, especially, shooting film. There was a limited amount of film that people would shoot. You only had so much time on the set, or you kept having to add a lot of cameras. Now everybody's letting their cameras roll out.
In essence, you can shoot continuously all day, and so this presents a huge problem because even though the cost of the media is low, they're going through it like mad.
Constellation is a unique solution in the marketplace. It's unlike anything else that's out there. It really provides 4 key things. It's storage management, archive management, has an asset management capability, and also provides workflow automation. Constellation allows you to connect all these different storage devices. It used to be separate, managed by independent or unique systems. Constellation virtualizes for you, makes it all one. With Constellation, all data can now be tracked, managed, and searched from any location worldwide, to and from any storage environment, including archive libraries, even if those archives happen to be offline. Be able to search intelligently and granularly into that content, into that archive, to find what they're looking for easily, quickly, and then decide what they want to do with it, and receive that content back in the best way possible. It also connects storage devices between facilities. So now users who are connecting and searching have the ability to look at other facilities that are part of their internal secured and authenticated network. High-speed shared storage systems like SAN and NAS solutions are very expensive. Many organizations are adopting a tiered storage infrastructure. We can automatically move things from that primary, expensive fast access to that secondary tier, to that third tier, to offline.
Universal Sports' business entails the acquisition of several thousands of hours of transmission material every year. So we find that Constellations offers great economic benefits by allowing us to offload material from the SAN system and to be able to draw it out of archive whenever or if ever it is needed again.
And when we do this, Constellation will maintain the entire structure of the project, put it back just the way it was, even with the original date and file times.
Constellation's asset management is based on an unparalleled ability to understand, extract, add, and manage any metadata embedded in a file.
Metadata, of course, being simply information about other information, the number in the picture, the time code, etc. All these ancillary things that surround the actual content, the actual picture and track, that are critical so that we know where things are, we know what they are, and we know how to deal with them.
In addition to standard metadata formats like MXF, AAF, SMPTE, timecode, scene detection, Constellation provides user-customized metadata fields unique to the project, the department, or organization.
The way Constellation approaches it is it allows the record to travel with the media. So when you move media, now you're not only moving the media, the picture and the sound, you're also moving the metadata that goes along with it.
With Constellation being the glue, we can put a lot of different pieces together to help solve problems. One of those is with logging, logging of dialogue, logging of scene information. So we can take information from other systems that are already being used today and now use that as metadata sources.
It offers you the opportunity to tag material as it's being acquired, way, way early on in the process.
Because those assets were registered in the first place, and proxies were generated, and the metadata was logged, and it's part of the database, it's searchable.
And what Constellation does is it begins to offer those really good capabilities of the computer environment, network management, media management in other industries, and allows us to find good ways to apply that to the production industry.
A long, long time ago, everything was archived on film. You could just hold it up to a light bulb and see if there was a picture on it. Then there was a videotape, which required a videotape player. And now there's LTO tape, which there's no easy way to look at it. It requires computers, it requires tape drives.
If you just spent a day looking for something, and you had to restore an entire LTO, and it wasn't the right thing, well, you're back looking for that needle in the haystack again.
The biggest problem is knowing whether or not you have your asset at all.
Constellation offers the ability for users to examine and play back archive data on LTOs as if the media were sitting right there on spinning disk storage. The users can scrub through the archived media as a proxy. They can find a 10-second clip and recover it from LTO without ever having to load the entire tape.
It also allows us to go from operating system to operating system. So we can take something that was done on Mac, restore it to Windows. Take something that was done on Windows, restore it to Mac.
It's got good fundamentals to it, and it can therefore be applied in almost any way that the user decides they want to customize it. Digital cinema has changed everything about everything that we do. In the day of film, you shot a roll of film, you put it in a can, you marked it with black tape, you gave it to a production assistant who had a used car and asked him to drive it to the lab.
And now the cameras are shooting file-based and there's no tape. It lives on a hard drive and it's much more volatile.
For the DIT, the DP, the producer, the studio, whoever it is, every stakeholder in that project, obviously it's a very unsettling notion that there is no original, that your original is getting handed back to the camera department almost as soon as it gets downloaded and probably getting erased.
You get a bag of CF cards at the end of the day, like 20 cards, and they go, well, we need these back on set at 6 a.m. There's a tremendous pressure to make sure that you don't miss anything, that you don't lose anything, that you don't accidentally delete anything.
You're shooting on a 5D, just one compact flash card doesn't get transferred properly. But that compact flash card was your crash cam on your $100,000 stunt.
Certain camera formats have a very specific naming convention and file tree structure. If those items are changed or corrupted in any way, the footage can be totally unrecoverable.
As digital cinema has come online, it has given us the opportunity to say, well, wait a minute, let's secure things so that if, God forbid, something like that does happen, we're still protected.
More than likely, whatever your camera is shooting probably needs to get converted to something else. Might even need to get converted to something smaller for reviews, dailies, web, whatever it is.
So Constellation can help guide users to make these decisions and then automate that process based on the policies that you create.
When you hand your media back to your camera department, that you can safely say, like your job depended on it, yep, you can erase that, nothing is going to get lost.
Each time Constellation moves or clones a file, Constellation performs an SHA-256 checksum of the data in its entire file structure.
Even 10 years from now, if we now have gone through 3 generations of technology on my archive, I still have guaranteed that it is the exact clone of the original.
Administrators also have a complete log of all user activity. Anytime a file is touched, the requesting user, date, time, and type of request is recorded and logged for the admin.
What I also found appealing is that it's not a system that you have to spend, a ton of money on in order to start.
We have customers, for example, that are insurance companies, life insurance companies, billion-dollar companies. We have a company on the other end of the spectrum who's a 2-man production company.
Everyone's needs are totally different. So we decided to price Constellation by the terabyte. So the guy that needs to manage a 10 terabyte edit system is really spending a lot less than the company that's managing 100 terabyte SAN.
You pay as you go, so there's a way that it simply grows as you grow.
It would be hard to get your arms around all the things that it can do. So when we meet with somebody who is interested in Constellation or an asset management system, our questions, really it starts out with our questions to the customer. What are your pain points? What do you need? What are you looking for?
And as a result, the solutions that we provide really are designed by our customers.
Even from my first phone call to CET, it was immediately apparent how much experience every member of the team has in production.
Keeping on top of technology is a difficult task. It's dynamic and it's driven by money. CET Universe's team is one that I trust, and I trust them to keep on top of technology.
I've been working in this industry for a number of years, and I've always found that managing the media has been a big distraction. And Constellation is the first tool that I found that really begins to address that issue.
It's an ongoing, living, breathing piece of software that will continue to get better, but I will say this, there's nothing like it in the industry that even touches it.